This is right here.
And then crushing.
Real glass.
Crushing
Go cry me a river.
Everything in life has a price. The question is how much you're willing to sacrifice for it.
But when are people gonna realize that nobody believes in the spirit of AEW more than me? Even after this company turned its back on me. When this company left me for dead. But I continue to fight. I continue to sacrifice.
Those who shape the future carried the burden of destroying the past.
Jack Perry had not only failed to win the AEW World Championship at Double or Nothing in 2023, but he would also go on to fail to obtain the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Sanada at Forbidden Door. This would break something inside Perry, and he would lash out at Hook, who was in his corner that night. Before this night, Jack Perry had been effortlessly over with the AEW audiences with his Jungle Boy persona, but it almost seemed like a burden to him to have to play by the rules. Now he was free to be as ruthless as he needed to be to achieve his goals, and at Blood and Guts that year, he would seize the FTW Championship by being the first to defeat Hook, breaking his undefeated record. This was Jack Perry's first singles title, and he would defend it against none other than Rob Van Dam. This was fitting since the FTW title was basically a stand-in for the ECW title, as all defenses would fall under the FTW rules that were identical to ECW rules. Perry would defeat RVD and taunt Hook by saying that if he won at their upcoming match at All In London that year, he would retire the FTW belt. This held extra weight since Hook's father, Taz, was the one who originally created the FTW title back in the original ECW. Most everyone knows about the events that occurred after the match at All In, but the match itself is often overlooked, and that's a shame. It's a solid match and one of the best that either Hook or Jack Perry had that year. Hook would win back the FTW title, and Jack Perry would find himself in the middle of a controversy that would alter all elite wrestling forever.
I've been telling people on this channel to subscribe, and they won't.
Yes?
What can we do about that? Can you help me out? Maybe if you tell them to subscribe, they'll do it.
Threaten them. I'll threaten them for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. You don't have to do it till you're cursed.
Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant.
Jungle Boy too young for this.
And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say,
I'm sitting in catering, minding my own business, and Tony Schiavone comes and gets me, and he's like, hey, I really need your help. And I was like, what? He's like, Jack is, cussing me out, and he's cussed out Mike Mansouri, and he cussed out Daryl from production, and he's cussing out the doctor right now. You don't want me involved in this because just like everything else I've explained before, like, y'all need to handle this, because if you don't, I'm gonna handle it, and you're not gonna like the way I handle it. And I walked up to Jack, and he was sitting in a car. What he wanted to do, it was a rental car. What he wanted to do was smash the window of the rental car with a pipe. And I was just like, it's a rental car. And I very politely, because I like Jack, I was just like, Doc's told you no, Daryl's told you no, Mike's told you no, Shivani's told you no, and now I have to tell you no. And apparently you've cussed them all out. So I'm telling you no. We don't do that here. If you want to do this, go to Wednesday and do it. Right? And he had no problem. He said, okay. He said, well, I just thought it was a really cool idea. And I said, it might be, but this is a rental car. Boys ruin it for the boys. You're going to smash the window of a rental car and you're going to return it with no fucking window. And now whatever national budget hurts, whatever, is going to be like, don't rent cars to pro wrestlers anymore. This is a thing that's happened. Swearing at the doctor because the doctor's like, real glass. You're going to, like shit's going to go in your eye. Like, and I get it. I used to be that kid that was like young and I want to do this, but there's a safe way to do it. And I politely explained that to him. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cuss at him. I was just like, I very much just said, we don't do that here. This is Saturday. It's a different show. If you want to do stuff like this, do it on Wednesday.
Someone actually once said about Jack, if you've got a problem with Jack Perry, chances are you're the problem.
Jack came back from his match. I was the next match. I'm sitting there. And I walk up to him and I'm just like, Jack, why do you insist on doing this dumb internet shit, like on TV, And he's just like, well, if you got a problem about it, do something about it. And I was just like, man, come on, man. I'll fucking kill you. Like, what are we doing, And it just, it's like Chael says, sometimes you just can't let you get close, I thought I was doing a responsible thing, I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little bit. Samoa Joe was there, told me to stop, and then I quit. I turned to Tony and I said, this place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown. I quit. I went to my room and then Joe and Jerry Lynn came and got me and they're like, let's just go out there and kill it. And I was just too fired up, and I'm fired up now, and I'm probably gonna regret, talking about all this shit, but that's what happened.
One thing I was reading one article, and the article said that this video proved that CM Punk was the aggressor in this situation. All right, maybe that was what they were trying to get out. Maybe they want the world to know that Jack Perry wasn't the one that really started this thing, and maybe we can bring Jack Perry back now because we did show the video, take some of the steam off Jack Perry trying to make a return back to AEW. Maybe that was it. It puts Jack Perry in a position where he wasn't the bad guy as far as, look, man, I didn't start this. Okay, there's a lot of people putting a lot of heat on Jack Perry right now. A lot of people saying Jack Perry, he's calling himself a scapegoat, of course, but a lot of people really think, maybe Jack Perry got raw end of the stick on this thing. I don't know.
It's not anti-CM Punk, but you got to see what this is. This is a guy, CM Punk, wrestling legend, indestructible, millionaire, okay? Can go work anywhere, doing anything. He can go wrestle on the indies and make a ton. He doesn't have to wrestle again. He can go do appearances. He's got a commentary gig for UFC. He's fine. He's set. His reputation is ironclad. You can't stop people from chanting CM Punk, ever. It will be there until the end of the time. It'll be there after he is dead. There's no way to erase or damage the legacy of CM Punk. Set in stone, carved in granite, on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, whether you like it or whether you don't, and he revels in it.
Right.
Okay? You're done. Jack Perry. I mean, this guy's basically disposable, right?
At this point, very much so. Very much still Jungle Boy. Very much could be gone and nobody would have cared.
He was just getting the wheels under him at this point.
Yep.
Like, this heel turn was looking promising, kind of, but he's on the pre-show. He's on the pre-show. Right. How many people even watch Jack Perry versus Hook? Other than CM Punk, who took it very personally.
Right.
CM Punk was watching. Jack Perry versus Hook with a critical eye.
Wrestling is silly. I always heard wrestling is the equivalent of the mob running a high school. That's pretty much what professional wrestling is.
So, how do you feel about how Jack Perry was able to navigate this situation? Put yourself in Jack Perry's shoes. How do you get back after this?
Well, I think exactly what... I don't know whose idea it was, so I don't want to give credit to Jack for
who knows?
Navigating it this way when all reality it was orders. He was told to go do what he did. But the time away was good. The silence from the company was good. Nobody confirmed if he was gone. Nobody said if he was suspended.
There was so much...
He suspended?
He's suspended, yes. And there was so much criticism over how the company handled it. But in retrospect, historically, I think we can agree that this went very, very well.
I think it was great because it just made people talk. The more people talk, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, the better off you are.
Yeah.
And by making everybody just kind of disappear, maybe a gentle statement that, they're suspended, we'll deal with it later. And then nothing, radio silence. No one knows that they've been released. No one knows if they're still suspended. No one knows when they're coming back. Then Jack Perry pops up in New Japan. I don't know if he asked for permission to go to New Japan or if they're like, hey, go wrestle in New Japan so you stay fresh. Go try some character stuff in New Japan and we'll bring you back when we feel like you have something. I don't know whose idea it was, but whoever it was deserves a medal because they saved this young man's career.
This is Thunder Rosa from the Graveyards of Tijuana, Mexico. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, The Parts Unknown, and Grave Diggers keep digging.
After being suspended for over 4 months, Jack Perry would return, but not in All Elite Wrestling. Instead, he would appear at a New Japan Pro Wrestling event in January of 2024 and attack Shota Umino and tear up his AEW contract.
Japan for me is an opportunity not to start over, but to start a new chapter without having to apologize or pretend to be sorry for the actions of other people. The ripping of the contract was a declaration that I'm not playing by your rules anymore. If you're too afraid to have me, if the specter of Jack Perry is too much, you don't want to deal with the conversations and the ramifications that brings, that's fine. I don't need you. The thing about Shota is I feel there are a lot of similarities in who I used to be and who he is now. When I look at him, I can see when he's doing what he's doing it for the people. And the reason you do something for other people is for something in return. I was a golden boy once, kid my world. I was a pillar, if you will. And I really let other people's perceptions of me kind of guide my actions. And at the end of the day, I wasn't really seeing the results that I wanted to, and I realized that I would never be able to perform optimally if I was worried about the expectations of other people. I think it's ingrained in the human mind to be afraid of blame and the disapproval of others. And at the end of the day, that's weakness in your mind and your soul. And if you know the truth, what good is the opinion of other people? If you know the truth, you have power. I'm not shying away from the blame. If you need me to be the scapegoat because you don't have the bravery to stand up to your own actions and the consequences of what you brought about, that's fine. I'm man enough to take it for all of us, and I'm not hiding from any of it.
Perry would spend over 3 months making a name for himself in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he would punctuate this time there by having one of the best matches of his career at Windy City Riot that April in Chicago, where he would arrive to not chants of CM Punk, but to cheers. Jack would embrace his situation by wearing a jacket with "Cry Me a River" written on the back, and pants adorned with a broken glass pattern. Jack Perry was truly reborn. Before All In, his turn as a heel really didn't have anything behind it to properly fuel it. Now, Jack had a raging inferno to call upon, and his manipulation of the situation was about to become a masterclass on how to handle what could have been a devastating career-ending incident.
I haven't had a wrestling match in 6 months. During the absolute worst time in my entire life. I took 1 month for me. So now you wonder, why 6 months now? I'll tell you what, it ain't because of me. It's because other people are afraid. Nobody wants to have the difficult conversations. Everyone's afraid to let me come back. Or even let me go. Even when I fucking ask for it. Nobody wants to look in the mirror. So they need somebody to pin up on a cross.
At Dynasty, the Young Bucks defeated FTR to win the vacant AEW World Tag Team Championships for a record-setting 3rd time in a ladder match, with the help of a returning Jack Perry.
If you'd like to know more about how the Young Bucks changed the world again, make sure you check out that video on this channel.
And if you'd like to see more videos like this one, the best way to do that is to subscribe and ring that bell a few times until it turns solid. Apparently, if you just click it once, it's not good enough. Why isn't it good enough? I don't know. It doesn't seem fair, does it? What can I say? YouTube can be pretty unreasonable when it comes to these things. And here's the sad truth. Even if you subscribe and ring the bell until it promises to alert you when new videos drop, it probably still won't. So what will you need to do if you like this channel and you want to see all the videos released here is to go and get a 4x6 postcard and write to YouTube directly. Tell them that you very much like the videos on the Mr. Hartgrave from Parts Unknown channel, and please, please, please notify me when new videos drop. Short of that, my best advice would be to simply come back once a week and click on the videos tab on the channel and see what I posted this week and watch all the videos you haven't seen. Trust me, they're all super good. Especially that 1-hour video on Will Ospreay that totally didn't break my brain and leave me a broken shell of the man I used to be.
After helping the Young Bucks win the tag championships, Jack Perry would officially join the Elite, and the first order of action would be to take out Tony Khan and take over All Elite Wrestling. This would lead to an epic Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing, where Jack Perry would be set on fire. Even after that, Jack and Team Elite would come out on top, and their reign of terror would persist. Exactly 1 year from when Perry first turned on Hook and started down his new darker path, he would enter a 6-man ladder match for the TNT title at Forbidden Door 2024. This was not the first time Perry had attempted to win the TNT title. Perry had been chasing this belt for his entire run in All Elite Wrestling, and on this night, he would finally grasp it. In Perry's hands, the TNT title would be reborn, and the Scapegoat would become complete. But it was Perry's destiny to be sacrificed, and sacrificed he was at Blood and Guts the very next week, where he was chained to the cage, and Darby Allin would look to finish what he started at Double or Nothing by pouring gasoline over his fellow pillar. The Young Bucks would forfeit the match, but Mark Briscoe would punctuate the victory by hitting Jack Perry in the head with a steel chair while Perry was still chained to the cage and unable to protect himself. Jack Perry would recover and go on to defend his TNT title for the months to come. After losing the Tag Team Championships to Private Party, the Young Bucks would abandon Jack Perry and AEW, fearing what Jon Moxley and his Death Riders would do to them. Oh yeah, and they left Brandon Cutler behind as well. He's probably fine. Daniel Garcia would set his sights on the TNT Championship and a match would be made for Full Gear in November. Would he be able to replicate what Private Party had done to the Young Bucks and restore the feeling? Or would the Scapegoat find a way to hold on what he had forged in the fire of controversy and betrayal?
If you would have told me a couple years ago, before this had happened, that Jack Perry was going to come back with Cry Me a River written on the back of his jacket to thunderous applause, and that people would be chanting for real glass, I would have laughed you out of the bill. I would have said, and he's a heel. I would have said, right. Jack Perry's a heel, and he's got Cry Me a River over as his catchphrase.
So good.
I'd be like,
So good.
that sounds so cringe. But it's cool as hell.
I know. He comes up with a goat head on his head. Like, on paper, it sounds like the dumbest thing ever.
Oh my God, yeah, tell me that bit too. A few years ago, yeah, he's gonna come out with the goat head. He's gonna call himself. He's gonna call himself the Scapegoat. Be like, without any context, don't tell me anything about CM Punk or any of this. Just tell me the end result. I'd be like, no, that's absurd. You're stupid. Okay, you have no idea what you're talking about. That will never work. That's not a gimmick you can run with.
Mm-mm.
It's
and yet here he is running a marathon.
It's one of the best gimmicks we've got going. Jack Perry is a great character now. Jack Perry has depth. I'm interested in Jack Perry. Daddy Magic was on commentary. Partway through the match, Jack Perry sneaks through the audience and kidnaps Daddy Magic. And Daniel Garcia doesn't notice until the end. End of the match, he comes out. Tony Schiavone's like, you went off with Jack Perry. I don't know what they're doing. And then they start playing the footage on the big screen of Jack Perry beating the crap out of Daddy Magic next to the Scapegoat. He fights them through the arena and they go out to the Scapegoat truck.
Not the truck.
I love the Scapegoat truck. Have I ever told you how much I love the Scapegoat truck in this video?
No, I've never heard it.
You've never heard about 5 or 10 minutes of Scapegoat truck material? Have you noticed in AEW, if you want to be a bad guy, you got to attempt murder now?
I know. Everyone's trying to kill each other.
You got to attempt murder now. And doesn't it kind of make you wonder why MJF is still seen as such a bad guy?
Everybody's trying to murder people.
And MJF has never attempted murder on anybody.
No, he's just been a douche. Like, that's literally it. That's all he's guilty of.
Right? And I'm supposed to buy this guy as a bad guy now, and Jack Perry's out here chaining Daddy Magic to the back of the Scapegoat truck and is going to drag him down the road? This is a horror movie happening in front of us here. This is John Moxley levels of insanity happening right here on Collision. Right? I'm all in when I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So he chains up Daddy Magic to the back of the truck, and he's going to pull. Watching AEW as long as I have, I honestly thought it was going to happen. I mean, why wouldn't it? I've seen people set on fire, right? I've seen Jack Perry set on fire.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so why wouldn't we pull? I'm starting to look at Daddy Magic critically. I'm like, does he have padding on? Is he? Are they ready to do this? Is he on like a board or something? This is going to happen. In my mind, I'm like, this is going to happen. It doesn't happen. Okay? Daniel Garcia comes out and starts beating the crap out of Jack Perry. Prevents Daddy Magic from being... I don't know what would have happened to Daddy Magic. I don't know.
Good.
I don't know. Hey, Darby Allin jumped off a ladder into a huge pane of glass and he's still walking around. So maybe Daddy Magic would have been fine at the end of the day had they decided to pull him. I'm sure it was on the table.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he wasn't completely against it.
I'm sure that they were like, what if we just actually pull Daddy Magic down the street a little bit?
We ain't gotta go far.
We ain't gotta go far, just enough to give the people a thrill. The camera cuts. Daddy Magic puts his hand over the camera. When we come back, Jack Perry is strapped to the truck, to the hood of the truck. Chained to the hood of the Scapegoat truck, and Daddy Magic is driving the truck. And they drive the truck. They go for a ride. Okay? And that's how it ends.
That's the end of the episode?
That's the end of that segment. And he was never seen again. Jack Perry somehow goes to every AEW show and leaves every AEW show in a custom black Scapegoat truck. Do you understand the logistics of how this truck gets? Does he actually drive it state to state? Is there a guy paid to drive the truck, the Scapegoat truck? Has it been cited on the road? It's so insane. I don't understand it. Like, literally, please reach out if you have any information on how the logistics of the Scapegoat truck works. I'm so confused and impressed.
Is it his truck? Did he steal it?
Do they have multiple trucks? Do they like paint one up in multiple towns? Do they have them like outposted? Like, or because here's the other thing. Here's the other thing about the truck. It barely runs. The thing's like, there's black smoke's coming out the back. It's barely, it's an old truck. And it's somehow like driving around the United States. I mean, do they have to pull this thing into the back? Do they have a mail truck size space in the back of their fleet and one of their trucks that they drive this truck into? Like, seriously, I think about this a lot. The chat says,
I can tell.
The chat says that the Scapegoat truck runs on spite.
I can see it. That's why the smoke is black.
Is that how it gets around? On spite alone? And they always got great footage of the truck, like drone footage. They got it driving through New York. I mean, the truck is like cooler than Jack.
Right.
And it's awesome. And I don't understand it at all. And I love it. I love the truck.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I love it, too.
But, I mean, how much money is it costing to run this truck, to do this stuff? It seems like it would be a lot of money.
Honestly,
Or it is what it is. Or it actually is Jack Perry gets in this crappy truck and literally drives it, breaking down every 50 miles, getting it, repairing it himself. He seems handy.
Yeah, he definitely does. You saw him make the belt, or
right?
whatever he did.
I don't know, man. I need answers. I'm sorry I don't have them in this video. Like, my questions aren't getting answered in this video, guys. I'm sorry. I wish I had it for you. I don't have connections like that. This is my number one question for Jack Perry, by the way. Like, Jack Perry? Yeah. I don't even care about the CM Punk stuff. Forget about that. Just tell me about the truck. Whatever. FCM Punk, dude, what about this truck? How does it get around? Who's driving it? Do you drive it? Does it break down? You got multiple trucks? Do you think I've milked this truck thing for all it's worth yet? I really do think about it a lot.
We're asking the important question here on Parts Unknown.
I'm like that meme where the wife is like worried that the husband's like cheating on her, but the husband's like rolled over and he's like thinking like, how does Jack Perry's truck get from state to state?
I bet he's thinking about other women.
Yeah, no. He's been distant. No, I'm really just trying to figure out how Jack Perry's truck gets from state to state, honey.
You were my sun, you were my earth, but you didn't know all the ways I loved you, no. So you took a chance, made up plans, but I bet you didn't think that they would come crashing down, no. You don't have to say what you did, I already know. I found out from Yeah.